It came out on Monday. Monday was September 16th, I believe. And Diddy was taken into federal custody in New York. This came out through TMZ. And it was just like when this hit the airways, mouths dropped. It was like, oh my God. Do they got Diddy? Like, oh my fucking God. Like, did he do it? Diddy did it. Diddy did it. Like, what the fuck? Like, we been knew all the shit that happened with Cassie and everything that happened like that. But they took Diddy into custody. And at this point, we knew it was up from there. It was up. Like, absolute, like, mayhem. So, everybody was wondering, like, well, how the fuck did it go down? How did it happen? When did it happen? Things like that. So, just a couple hours before Diddy got busted, he was confidently strolling around New York City with his son, Christian King Combs. He even stopped to greet some fans and take some selfies. And I was seeing the video when it had hit the airways, and that video came out. Diddy was in the park taking pictures with fans and whatnot, looking like he was just living his life. And a law enforcement tells TMZ Diddy's arrest was scheduled for Tuesday, but something happened that caused the feds to move in a day earlier. So, what the fuck was that something? And everybody was wondering, like, well, what the fuck was the something? Like, what happened? And why did they come in a day earlier? And he was already in New York, and his lawyer was talking about why he was in New York. And the reason he was there was because he was ready to turn himself in. And they ended up coming a day earlier and whatnot. So, Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him. We have unconfirmed reports. The feds are searching his hotel room. We're told Diddy was taken into federal building in Lower Manhattan. So, they got Diddy in the custody in New York. They got Diddy up in the motherfucking jail up in New York, man. Like, it's wild. So, it appears the action was taken into connection with the ongoing criminal investigation into alleged sex trafficking and other offenses that led to search warrants being issued and executed at Diddy's home in Beverly Hills and Miami. As we reported, a grand jury has been hearing testimony from various accusers over the past few months. So, they have been interviewing people. They have got them videos from when they raided his home, and they are interviewing the people that they have seen in them videos. It's like, god damn, man. Like, Diddy, like, what the fuck? So, Diddy's attorney, Mark, tells TMZ, we are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. How the fuck? Unjust? Now, what Diddy did was unjust. Like, let's just start there. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made, entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community. It was all a fucking facade, man. We all knew Diddy was a freak ass nigga. We all knew Diddy was out here doing what the fuck he was doing, gathering these girls up and doing the shit that out there and whatnot. So I ain't trying to hear all that philanthropist shit right about now. Like, we knew what type of nigga we was dealing with. The rumors about Diddy have been out my entire life, man. The rumors about the elaborate parties that he throw, like the legendary Diddy parties and how decent the parties be decent, and all the celebrities that come and all the things that go down at the parties, like those types of stories have been out my entire life. And I'm 29. So I've always heard about all of the rumors and things like that. We've always heard that Diddy was gay. That is another rumor that has been out my entire fucking life. So to see it all to just be true now, and all of it, well, allegedly true, but we know, it's just blowing my mind. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I can't, I ain't gonna say I can't believe this shit, because yeah, but in essence, god damn, niggas can't believe this shit, man. Did he, like, all the shit they been saying about you is true, bro? His lawyer went on to say, he is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. There are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Child. So, once all of this had came out and whatnot, we was all like, they ended up saying that the indictment was going to be released to the public and early this morning. Now, this was all happening Monday night. So they said that they was going to release the indictment to the public, and when the indictment comes out, we'll be able to read through the whole indictment to see exactly what they're charging him with, what they've been investigating, and what they are looking into to charge Diddy with. So the documents came out. The documents hit the airways and shit exploded even fucking more. It was just more details. You seen that it was 1,000 fucking bottles of baby oil and 1,000 bottles of lubricant and you know all the shit about the freak offs. And oh my god, like when I say that indictment was literally wild, like some of the wildest shit that I've read through like all fucking year, like it was just absolutely fucking insane, man. So let's look at the document. Now I ain't gonna read through this whole damn document, but we are going to read through some of the document. I will have the entire document posted up on my Instagram pages, on my Twitter and whatnot. So if you want to read through the documents yourself and get into all the details and whatnot, we can. But we're gonna look into some of it. So for one, this is line number one. For decades, Sean Carter, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. P. D, a.k.a. Love. All these motherfucking aliases. You know Diddy been changing his name literally all our fucking lives. The defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and concealed his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Oh my mother. Child, arson. Y'all know Diddy set Kid Cudi fucking car on fire, man. Line number two. Sean, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Love. The defendant operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles, under a variety of United States corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Comb Enterprises, and Comb Global Collective as the Comb Business, corporate entities in the Comb Business, included and among other things, record labels, a recording station, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network. Child. Y'all know Diddy had all these other businesses besides Bad Boy. Child, now you know wasn't nobody watching Revolt and ain't nobody give no fucks about Revolt. And a media company. So that was all line number two. Line number three. At times relevant to this indictment, Sean, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Love, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern. Pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. The abuse at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his patterns of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly, what the fuck that word say? See, this shit is blurry over here. Highly performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Comb and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' locations. Combs ensured participation from women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same and using intimidation and violence. Whew! I gotta take a breath, man. Like, this shit is just blowing my mind, man. Diddy, you was just wilding. Like, you literally was just abusing your money and abusing your power and just doing too much. Now, there's nothing wrong with people having threesomes and wanting to do whatever little freaky things they do, but people have to be consented. There has to be 100% consent amongst all parties who are participating in these activities. There must be no type of backing out or none of that type of, and you know what, if people want to back out, of course that's what they can do, but what I mean by that is it just has to be like, this is what everybody wants to do. We all agree on this. Nobody's being drugged or forced and none of that type of crazy shit that people are into, but you just so sick and sadistic in your head. Like, it's, oh my God, like, this was just too much, man. 4. Physical abuse by Sean Combs, aka Love. The defendant was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These women were assaults. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and there was a vase and threw a vase at a woman as she attempted to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Oh my God. This man is absolutely dangerous. And he been dangerous. The rumors been about Diddy, man. Like, how the fuck rumors been going on about you for 29 years? Bro, like, this shit is crazy. Like, and what happened to Kim Porter? Like, this is just getting into all this shit with Cassie and everything ever since she opened the doors to this and her relationship with him. Like, what happened to Kim? What happened to Kim? Like, what is, like, oh my God. So I just send prayers out to the women and to the people who's been abused and assaulted by this man. Let's get into some of the let's read through some of the more, like, it might be a little bit out of order, but enriching members and associates of the enterprise include its leader Combs, and in particular those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs enterprise included the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal and emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, included through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers, enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual abuse, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commission of such acts. Securing absolute loyalty from those members of the Combs enterprise included through the acts of violence and threats. Protecting the Combs enterprise and the members of and associates included Combs from direction and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by the members and associates of the enterprise. That is a fucking mouthful. So, those are pretty much the acts that Diddy was doing in order to, like, run his shit. Diddy been doing this for over 20 years now. Like, this is just, like, wow. Like, and I bet they got all the motherfucking people on tape. They know who was in all the freak offs and all the things like that. Like, so let's jump to like some more towards the end, because I ain't gonna, like I said, like I ain't gonna read this whole thing. I will post it up. This is a 14-page document, a 14-page indictment that they've released to. This is pretty much everything that they're charging him with and all of the things like that. So this is line number 19. As a result of committing the offense alleged in court 2 of this indictment, Combs, aka Diddy, the defendant, shall forfeit to the United States. Okay, so that word is blurry. United States Code Title 18 or some shit like that. Section 1594. Any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of said offense, and any and all property traceable to such property. Any and all property, real and personal, continuing or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, including but not included. Okay, some money and currency and things like that. So they pretty much are just like ready to take all the shit that they got from Diddy and take everything away from him. And it's just wild, man. Like, oh, wow. Diddy, you done, man. You done. Like, you done. Like, how do you think you going to get the fuck up out of this? So, after all of that happened and all of that was said and whatnot, they pretty much was indicting Diddy on sex trafficking, racketeering charges, and kidnapping charges. And those are some of the main charges that they coming out. And Diddy is facing a quite amount of time. Like, he's facing, oh my God. The racketeering charges is a charge. It could possibly face life in prison for that. The sex trafficking charges is a maximum of life in prison and a minimum of 15 years. And although I can't move this out the way, yes, it got. The transportation for prostitution charges is a maximum of 10 years in prison. So, if Diddy is like convicted on all of these charges, this man could possibly face a whole, like, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Diddy is already 55 years old. Like, y'all know the human lifespan of a male is probably only 80 at best. So, it's just absolutely fucking crazy, man. Like, I don't expect him to come out innocent. Now, he has pleaded innocent from the charges from the bail hearing and stuff that came out today.